Hey guys, so today I wanted to make a video that will essentially make you guys into programmers for those who already aren't. What I mean by that is I want to make a video that's going to teach the most fundamental ideas of coding without being overwhelming. And I feel the need to do this because some of my friends recently have been trying to learn coding and they feel daunted. And personally, I also felt daunted when I started programming. And I think that's because of how it's usually taught. When I first started, I was told to download IDEs and this and that with no context as to how the program is running, what's going on. And I want to prevent that from continuing by making the most simple video I can make about programming. So to do that, I have two main things that I pretty much want to cover. I want to cover how programs work to a really high level degree. And I also want to explain how to write programs, and I'm going to be doing that in Python because personally I find Python the easiest programming language to learn. Okay, so now I want to get into that first point. And to get into that first point, I want to context switch into the time that computers were first created. So when computers were first created, they look a little bit less like what you see here, and they look a little bit more like what you see in the Mac command line. So users would shell into a machine, and then they'd start typing commands like echo. Echo is the most basic command that you can run in pretty much most machines, and what it does is it takes in an argument that is a string that you want it to spit out again. There we go. So echo just took this argument and spit it back out. Now there are more complex commands, and the reason I bring any of this up to you guys is that Python, just like echo, is a command that you can run on the command line. And the reason I say that is because I want you guys to know that it's very simple to run Python code. Unlike echo, Python will take in a file name, and what it does is that it'll check that the file has Python code in it. If it doesn't, it'll crash, but if it does, it will look at that Python code and then it'll execute it. So that's why I bring up this terminal and these commands. Now, there's another reason I bring up the terminal, which is really important. And I want to show you guys that a computer is a file system that can be represented in many ways. The reason I want you guys to know that is I want you guys to be able to look for files in your computer and run them with Python. So, for example, I can view my desktop not just through the screen here that you see on the right, but I can see these same files on the command line by typing in the ls command, which will list the files that are in this current directory. I can also check which directory I'm in. So the computer has this underlying file system that's being represented both through this text in my terminal and it's being represented visually on the right. And here's proof of that. Let me create a file from the terminal that you guys will be able to see on the visual side. Okay, so I'm going to create a new file called test. And there it is. You can see it here. Now I'm going to open this file and I'm going to write in some Python code. I'm going to simply print out hello world. Okay, and I'll get into what exactly this means after. All I want to show is that you can navigate your computer using the command line on the left, and you can run code simply by typing in Python and then test, or Python and then file name in general. That's really cool because when I was learning programming in school, they had me download PyCharm and they had me work with these IDEs and this and that, importing libraries, and I was so confused as to what's happening. And that really motivates me to just give you guys the bare minimum that you need to write Python. Like, I'm writing Python on TextEdit, which I'm sure you guys never open normally, and using the command line, which for those of you that aren't programmers or in tech will probably never use either. This is all you need to write Python, is my point. In the next videos, we're going to get into actual Python itself. But first, and I want to keep drilling this into your head, now we know that all we need to run Python is the Python program on our computer, a command line to run Python from, and a file that contains Python code. Like, you can actually build like entire systems using this method, you know, but it's just people don't do that because that gets a little bit hard to maintain. Alright guys, I hope you guys got a better understanding and feel a little bit less intimidated by having to use Python. Python, again, is my preferred language for learning, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys are excited for the next one, because we're going to get into the juicy part of Python. We're going to get into the actual programming. Until next time, guys, take it easy, and I hope you learned a lot. Thank you.